Athens City Council met in regular session Monday night. The meeting began with communications from Mayor Patterson, notably about an award the City of Athens received in partnership with Ohio University last week from the International Town Gown Association, as well as an introduction from the city's new Engineering and Public Works Director, Robert Heddy. Council then moved on to ordinances for second reading, and after second reading, ordinances for first reading followed, with Council suspending the three-reading rule for multiple ordinances that needed to be passed in a timely manner. The first of these were ordinances 74-18 and 75-18, both introduced by Councilmember Katsas to secure construction of the Northwest Bikeway, Phase 3. The three-reading rule was suspended for Ordinance 74-18, a local project agreement with the Ohio Department of Transportation in order to meet ODOT guidelines for their assistance with the Northwest Bikeway project, and this ordinance was approved by Council. The next two ordinances, 76-18 and 77-18, were also introduced by Councilmember Katsas. These ordinances will allow a street closing on Union between Court and Congress and will suspend the unnecessary noise ordinance for a motorcycle gathering of the National Vulcan Riders Association, set to happen in Athens on July 9th. Both received suspension of the three-reading rule and were approved by Council. The meeting then moved on to announcements and other business, with Councilmember Crowell making a motion to approve two new members to the city's Environment and Sustainability Commission, as well as Councilmember Grace making a motion to approve a new member to the Athens Historic Preservation Commission, and finally Councilmember Fall made a motion to appoint 11 new members to the city's newly created Affordable Housing Commission. Council then moved into executive session to discuss collective bargaining. City Council also held a special session on Wednesday morning to go into executive session. Council then returned to special session for a vote to suspend the rules and adopt Ordinance 79-18 to approve the fact finder recommendation as part of the collective bargaining agreement with the Fraternal Order of Police.
City Planner Paul Logue has started hosting the neighborhood open house meetings for the comprehensive plan. The first meeting took place on Thursday, June 7th, when, like future meetings, it was split into two different time windows, from 11 to 1 and from 6 to 8. The meetings allowed residents to come in and out at their leisure to speak with planning staff, have roundtable discussions, and generally make their opinions known.
TGC attended both meetings and spoke with Paul Logue about some of his takeaways from the morning session.
There's some real concerns about transportation and how vehicles move around the neighborhood. The Far East Side is really interesting because it's or challenging, perhaps either interesting or challenging because you have a single-family residential neighborhood that is lined up directly against our major commercial corridor. And so there's obvious conflict, of course, with vehicles moving through that are just trying to do their daily shopping or just trying to cut through town. And then you've got full-time residents who experience some of the negative impacts of that. And so there's a lot of issues about transportation and traffic circulation that I've heard today that's been really beneficial. I guess the first thing that I've felt good about is that for the most part, we've heard that people they think that Athens is already in a pretty good place. And if we can just focus a little bit more and try a little bit harder, we can go from a pretty good place to a really great place.
Logue also explains how the planning process reached the neighborhood level.
There's several different components to it, one of which is that there's issues that come out. And the issues that were done through the discovery and our visioning. When we did our visioning, we heard some things clearly that people were expecting that we would address in our comprehensive plan. They want a safe city, they want to see a vibrant arts, they want to see historic preservation, or that the history matters. They want to see us focusing on environmental and sustainability issues. Local business, better accessibility for people with disabilities, but also for pedestrians and for bicyclists. So we heard a lot of issues like that. So those were things that we started doing topical issues about. Then there's also this component of like neighborhoods, and that's a given that we heard that in the visioning too, though. People want strong neighborhoods. They want attractive neighborhoods with good housing stock. And so once we went through the visioning and then we started talking about some of these topics, then we transitioned into covering neighborhood level issues.
Logue added that he wants these meetings to be as convenient as possible for residents.
So these open houses, community members that want to participate, they can come at any time within those windows. We don't have a set presentation for them. It is really to give them an opportunity. They can come in for 5 minutes if they want, or they can stay for the full 2 hours. We are trying to do them as best we can to get them in people's neighborhoods, to make it convenient for them, and also have a few different options for when they can stop in. With that being said, we also understand that not everybody can still make it to a public meeting.
The city planner added that there will be future opportunities to give your input to the comprehensive plan.
We will, once these open houses are complete, we will create a format called a take-home meeting where people can essentially host their own neighborhood meeting for us. That can be a family, it can be a few neighbors, it can be coworkers, it can be a church group or whatever the case may be. And they can sit down for an hour just as a small group, and we'll ask some questions and give them some things to talk about, and then they can just kind of just summarize what they think or what they're feeling and what they think might be ways to move forward, and they can submit that to us, and we'll accept that as part of we'll treat that as a planning meeting.
A few of those take-home meetings are available on the city's website. One is to address the environment and sustainability, and the other is to address history, culture, and arts. If you want to host a neighborhood meeting, you can go to the city's website to find out how. Further questions on the comprehensive plan or the take-home meetings can be directed to Paul Logue.
As a part of the Zero Waste Initiative, the Community Center recently received a bit of an upgrade when it comes to recycling. Rural Action supplied the rec with several new recycling bins of varying shapes and sizes. The bins were placed all over the facility as to encourage people to recycle over throwing things away. There's even a few bins outside. There's no excuse for excessive waste now, as the community center has a recycling bin at the playground, the outdoor basketball court, the front door, most of the conference rooms, the weight room, the dance room, in the upstairs offices, the front desk, and on the track. So next time you've got a recyclable to discard at the community center, help Athens cut down on waste by using one of the new recycling bins.
According to our forecast, Athens is about to have a very, very wet week. Today is looking like the only day to miss the rain in the next 7 days, with a high of 80 degrees and a low of 62. From Saturday through Wednesday then, we're expecting thunderstorms every day, along with some steady highs in the mid-80s and lows in the mid-60s. Thursday, we're going to keep the rain, but hopefully without the thunder, and see that low drop down to the 50s.